Hello, I welcome all of you today for the ET Travelworld's virtual summit. Our topic for today is analyzing the contribution of the MICE segment in reviving domestic tourism. As you must be knowing, MICE is a 1,000 billion market in US dollars. Although India's contribution into this segment is 1.5 to 2 billion USD, but it has a great potential to grow further. As a country, we are focusing a lot in the development of this segment. Some examples are coming up with the convention centers in Mumbai, in Delhi. Delhi, we are coming up with a world-class convention center in Pragati Maidan, followed by Dwarka. Mumbai is witnessing a high-profile convention center, which is Geo. All these convention centers hope to bring India's shares into this segment at a much higher level. More than 60 million people are directly employed into this segment. Even an interesting fact is that pre-COVID, it has been estimated by 2025, India will have a share of 9 billion US dollars in this industry, people especially going overseas. Now, this is a very interesting fact of this 9 billion USD share, how we can use this, maximum utilize this within our own country as well. As our Prime Minister emphasizes a lot on development of domestic tourism. So if I see the optimistic side of it, by 2025 means next 5 years, if we are estimating approximately 9 billion US dollar business going out of India, how much share we can retain within the country to develop the domestic tourism. And with this kind of infrastructure coming up, how we can further ensure that we attract more international meetings, congresses to our country. To discuss this important aspect of the business, I have 4 eminent panelists with me, and I would like to have a brief introduction about them before we take it forward. Today we have with us is Mr. Rajeev Kale, who is the President and Country Head, Holiday MICE Visa for Thomas Cook India Limited. We have Ms. Carrie Hannaford. She is the Vice President Commercial for Accor India and South Asia. We have Mr. Rajiv Jain, Director, Rashi Entertainment. And finally, we have Mr. Chander Mansharamani, Managing Director, Alcor Network Events Conference Management. So I welcome all the panelists to this important discussion. And I would like to start the discussion with a very open question to all the 4 eminent panelists. And I request Mr. Chander Mansharamani to start the answer. The first question will be, see, MICE has been a mainstay of Indian tourism and hospitality over the years. What future holds for this segment in the new normal of social distancing? Mr. Mansharamani.
See, let me put it first. The MICE segment, according to the World Travel Organization, is a 52% of the travelers today, before the COVID actually, travel under the MICE segment. This is a very, very significant number. Now the question comes in, how should we kind of, in this kind of a situation, how we work on it and how we move forward on this. There are 68% of the international association all over the world has a representative in India. So we can always, it's not that we need to look into the international associations only now. We can look into the Indian representative of this foreign associations, try and support them to bid for a conference or a meeting in India. This is how we can work on it and then get more business to India.
See, in my mind, if you're looking at the MICE, it is an investment and it is not an expense. So anybody and everybody who wants to bring back their demand on track, okay, they have to do several investments, and MICE is one of the key investment. It's a very key element of the sales and marketing for any distribution channel business. Wherever there is a dealer base, supply chain is there. It's a very, very key sales and marketing arm. So everyone has to keep investing, in their sales and marketing, and that is why the mice will always have its own life. It's not going to get die by COVID or anything as such. Yes, there will be new normal. There will be social distancing, hygiene, safety, various other stuffs will be there. But in my mind, if someone can keep investing, and you see, human is a social animal. Aspirational travel, experiencing the different parts of the world, experiencing India is always going to be the key in making the people happy, and make them motivate, and do their recognize their efforts and all that thing. Travel is something is must. So keeping all that in mind, I'm very confident that mice will never die. It's an investment. Yes, how do you reap the returns on that? It is very, very subjective to the creativity of that individual organization. But in my mind, we just have to find the creative ways to make mice happen.
Mr. Jain, from your point of view, the segment which you take care of.
As far as weddings are concerned, let me tell you, wedding can never go as far as the social medium is concerned. Wedding has to be all about physical experience and feel in touch. So we as wedding industry have quite sensibly thought about it, that we have to hold on ourselves. We have done our businesses till March, and the next business start till November, and we are forcing the business to come back in February. The kind of volumes that we were doing, if we go into this technological things, it'll come down to 170th, 180th or 100th jo hota hai pura.
Sure.
We are not intending to do it. And to the mice segment also, which I'm also a part of it, I'm trying to say that please do not teach your clients or your friends to do this technological integration. The business will fall down. We all will be out of a job. What feel and touch can happen between us, what experiences we can generate, be it wedding or mice, will be the name of the game in future also. I have a very strong submission both for wedding market and for the mice market, that effective January, February, there will be relief celebration. There will be vengeance buying. So be prepared for it. The companies that are doing mistake is they are just trying to go into this technological thing. The convention that we are doing just now is also technology oriented. I'm not a part of it. I accept it after 100 requests, because I feel that if I let my physical thing go down, my business will close. So guys, time to hold on, wait for yourself. Ask the owners of your organization to pay your salaries till November. The business 2021 will be a bright business for us, because people know that they don't have to add monies in their account. They have to celebrate life. The weddings will happen larger and bigger. Yes, social distancing, masks, and all these forms will be maintained. But yes, I agree, the physical has to be the name of the game. And be very clear about it. Hold on, guys. Do not go into this technological thing. We'll suicide ourselves.
I think it's a great thing, the positive part of it. I think, Carrie, coming to the hotel part, the venue part, how do you see this question in this? How do you answer this one?
For me, it is so heartening to hear the positivity, because I absolutely agree. And, my career, I have worked all over the world, and this is the number one market that is, it's crucial to any hotel operation. And I totally agree. And I think that, human beings will want to come back together. Already we have our inquiries are still quite extraordinary. Car launches. I mean, only just recently, and I won't name the car, but only just recently we received a quote for a car launch, and that requires a lot of people, attending. We have our first wedding, which I'm very pleased to say coming up. Albeit it's small, but it's a step in the right direction, and it is about instilling confidence in the consumers. We know that everybody is very skittish at the moment, but our research has shown us, and we did a lot of research in preparing our recovery plan, our rebound plan, is that India is extremely resilient. And our research took us all the way back to 2008, and whether there's been a natural disaster, a global financial crisis, a terrorist attack, India has bounced back every single time. And very, very confident that India will do this again. It's an extraordinary market. And already people are telling us that they can't wait to get out of hibernation. They can't, they just want to, heighten the five senses again and get back to somewhat levels of normalcy. And of course, health and safety will be a number one priority. But make no mistake, this market is not going away.
So I think what we collectively have discussed is basically on the positive side, that things will revive, keeping in mind the social distancing aspect as well. But this industry will bounce back, and sooner than the faster one. Continuing with the same question, I have a question attached to it, which you can take it forward. How can MICE be reimagined to make it to revive without losing the experiences associated with it? I think Mr. Rajeev Jain has just mentioned about it, certain aspect of this already. But the experiencing is very important in our business. So how it will revive, keeping in mind the experience has to be there. So Carrie, you can start with you this time.
Sure. Well, one thing that I think is very interesting and something that we can collectively do together, because you're quite right, the experience has to be there, it has to be unique, it needs to be bespoke, it requires a level of creativity, but it also requires partnership. And it's going to be very, very important that we don't try and do this as a standalone. And that, even though hotels and convention centers, we can all be very, very competitive, what will be important is that collaborative effort to push this segment and work together and agree on the way that we hold meetings and our partnerships with our suppliers. Again, they're so critical because, it's not just the venue that makes something successful. It's everything else that goes with it. It's the transportation. It's the experience that somebody is going to get, whether it, be in the display of a wedding or whether, it is a car launch. It's going to be that type of collaboration, which will be so important. And businesses need to be like-minded, willing to support each other, and making sure that we're there for each other for the common good, particularly when we're bidding on citywide conventions, that everybody come together in support of this very important business.
So Chandraji, how would you like to add this? What she's talking about, the collaboration, talking about the bids, talking about the different aspect. So I think that is something which is very important for this, especially for the convention and exhibition business.
See, in our business, the conferences and meetings, experiencing is basically the education. If you see all the medical conferences and non-medical conferences, it is that education is the content of what people are talking about, whether they were physically present into the hall or now with the technology when we are doing these webinars and all that. So experiencing is, again, I'll come back to, in the sense, the education, where we are all working towards it. Yes, I agree with Rajeev Jain and saying that, look, hold on. Yes, not only Rajeev, we are holding on to it, but when we talk to the customers also, most of the customers are saying to hold on. Hold on in the sense they asking us to, okay, let it go by, say, let's wait till October or November or maybe end of this year, to see that if the situation improve, they would also like to go in for a physical and face-to-face meetings. But then they also don't want to lose it on kind of educating their own community kind of a thing. If there is a conference on say gynecology or maybe any other conference, or there has to be some live surgery on that. So they like to continue and keep in touch with keep updating their kind of the doctors or their own membership kind of a thing, if it's an association, to keep a pace with that kind of an education. So that is what I feel in experiencing is the education at the moment, what we are doing it, or what most of the customers are also asking us. Let's experience that kind of an education at the moment. Keep on doing this kind of educating our people and all that. Keep that in touch with our kind of membership. And once we open up, like what Rajeev has said very correctly, yes, we are. I am also quite optimistic in the sense that we are going to come back on to the physical and then maybe face-to-face meetings and conferences.
So Rajeev Kale, coming to the point which Gary said about the collaboration, experiencing together, because especially in the segment of the corporate mice, sometimes this challenge comes, especially with the hotel chains. So how would you like to see this further? How can we work together with the collaboration, and how can we take this forward and enhance the overall experience of our client?
What we believe is that, travel has got, various, elements in terms of the experiences. And in my mind, travel is not a commodity. Okay. Travel is an art. So if you're talking about mice in specific, mice is definitely an art. It is the art of your care, that how are you going to taking care of your delegates. And there is the partnership comes in place as far as the hotel is concerned. MICE is an art of experience, and the experience starts right from, you get that particular, account and that particular event till, you get the final feedback. And there are various aspects. There is a gala dinner, there is a hotel room, there is a check-in, there is a sightseeing excursions, so on and so forth. So it's an art of experience, and it's an art of cuisine, because, when you are talking about the food, the happiness comes from, the stomach. And if you can, actually do that in an artistic manner, that is how you will actually, revive the business. So when you are talking about the revival of this business, it is, and especially from the India, centric point of view. See, we take these MICE tours all over the world for the, to see the various wonders of the world. But India also has got, various wonders, various experiences. We go abroad and we make them, we feed them the Indian food. True. And that's what they like at the end of the day. 99% of the tours, whether they are in Canada or whether they are in Kenya or whichever part of the world, they still want to eat the Indian food. So in my mind, the revival is about how do you, redefine these experiences? How do you redefine the experience of care by bringing, obviously some bit of technology, redefine your experience in terms of choosing the, right spots in India. And India has got so many things to offer, which always has been, accessible to the rich Russian or a rich American or a rich European clientele. It was never been there for an Indian. Now it's a time for, time for India, for Indians. And we really need to make the Indians travel within India and give them all those kind of amazing experiences which are very much available in India.
That is something which I'll come to you, because some following questions are related to what you are referring right now. So I'll hold you here, because that is a very interesting aspect which you have touched on. Yeah. And I would like you to speak to you in the later subsequent discussions on that particular aspect. So Certainly. Coming to Mr. Rajeev Jain, now wedding itself is a big experience. For somebody, it's like lifetime. It's like once in a lifetime kind of a thing. So in the same context, how would you relate this?
So see, we are very clear about it that we are a very large industry. Organized or unorganized sector is a $50 billion, which is a 3 lakh crore rupees industry. We are wanting to sustain the same figures, and we are wanting to sustain the same experiences. Yes, the changes that will happen as Indians, we have decided that for next 1 year to bring our economy back, we would be supporting the Indian destinations and the Indian hotels. We are talking to our clients not to go to Abu Dhabi or Antalya or the territories where we were working. I was very fond. I'm in love with those territories. But first I have to love my country. I have to see that the money remains here. Number one. Number two, as very rightly said by Rajeev Kale, the new destinations will come into play. We are looking at destinations like Mahabalipuram, Pushkar, Kerala, which will be the next in thing other than being Goa or a Jaipur that we are talking about. True. India has got lovely beach destinations in Chennai. The hotels like ITC Grand has come in Calcutta. They will become the next big thing as far as wedding is concerned. Yes, we are very clear that this thing is here to stay. The masks are here to stay. The sanitization is here to stay. The crystal masks will be there in the weddings. But yes, things will not fall down. Number of guests will be reduced, but number of functions will be increased. Hotels, as she was speaking, I'm very clear about it that hotels should not reduce their prices in the month of November, December, January, February. Because this money, what has been earned by the client for a wedding, is a money that he has earned for 20 years. It is not connected to his today business. In today's business, what Rajeev Kale is saying, he'll avoid traveling. But for wedding, nobody is ready to compromise. We have got our weddings intact. The budgets are in place. We are here to stay. We are here to rock this country. Yes, supporting India, as Narendra Modi says, we are here to do that particular stuff. Experiences will be the same.
Can we say that, or what is your opinion, Rajeev Kale, especially on this aspect? Can the Indian mice will survive on the domestic aspect alone? Can the mice business will survive just doing domestic business in the coming, at least for next 1 or 2 years?
I don't think, we need to talk for 2 years. It's a matter of some time. In my mind, as I said earlier, that the travel is a must, and it's a most aspirational thing. So if you're talking about short term, then yes, the solution is definitely India. And even from the long term perspective, India has got a lot to offer, and it is going to be a solution for long term. Mice will will be definitely, if you are comparing with the various other parts of the world, India will definitely stand much stronger, because there are so many things that we haven't explored, and there are so many adventure activities or various other activities we go abroad and do it just with the perception that they are safe. But I think if we can bring that safety and hygiene and those factors, India is going to be a solution forever.
Chander Mansharamani, what is your opinion on this? These domestic conferences will be the survival for the Indian mice industry, or we need international conferences as well?
In India, like if I'm talking about my business, about the conferences and meetings, domestic market was in any case was kind of ending much higher than what the international business which we are getting it. Only advantage now at the moment is that our bid process goes maybe with a gap of 4 years or 2 years. Mostly Asia Pacific conferences are 2 years or maybe 3 years on a cycle, or when you bid for a conference is a 4 year. Now with the bid which we already got, India has already got, say for 2025, 2024, 2023, is going to be there. Only with the immediate kind of a thing which the conference which we were having it, say this year or maybe 21, that will get affected. That is one. Secondly is that the conference which which I said earlier also, the 68% of the international association all over the world has an office in India. So we have an advantage that maybe through them, we need to support them and bid for the conferences for the near future, say 22 onwards or 23 onwards. So there, I am quite optimistic. Yes, that business will not get affected in the sense because they're all maybe lined up for 23 onwards or 22nd onwards. I'm sure about it. By that time, COVID may not be there in the sense that we will have that kind of physical conferences and all that. So that is the only change in scenario at the moment as for the conference are concerned. Domestic market, yes, it has really affected now in the sense that it all been postponed. It is not that number of conference which we were also doing it as ALCOD has all been postponed for say January onwards. People are still looking at doing the physical conferences rather than going for a virtual conference, which I said earlier also, but they have started doing in some kind of webinar or some kind of virtual conferences just to educate and then to keep it in touch with those with their membership. So I'm quite optimistic. Yes, we are going to lose somewhere, say 1 year down the line on the domestic conferences. International, there is an immediate effect now for few conferences, but in longer run, yes, we will come back to the international.
So in your segment, which you are focusing, so India can survive with the domestic bid.
Oh yes, definitely. That's what I'm saying. India has a lot of potential. If you see the number of conferences which we do, according to the ICA figures, which I'm sure you're also aware of it, is only 193 conferences which we do throughout the year, international conferences, which is nothing as compared to maybe thousands of conferences which we do within India. So that is not going to affect us much kind of a thing. But yes, domestic conferences are going to affect us a lot kind of a thing. And what your question is, yes, domestic market is quite big for us, for India to do conferences and meetings.
And coming to Mr. Rajeev Jain, this destination wedding, especially going to overseas, was a norm. A lot of people were trying to fix the weddings abroad, especially a lot of celebrities. So with the domestic market, like you mentioned about few newer destinations, how do you think that will help the domestic wedding business to survive in the long run? Is it okay, or still you need international destinations?
Let me give you some figures that approximately 700 weddings used to go out internationally in a year from this particular country. And the kind of revenues we are talking about is a 2 lakh crore revenue, because no weddings happens in less than 3 to 7 crore rupees is that we are talking about. And the countries that were majorly operating for the international destinations were Turkey, which comprised of Antalya, Cappadocia, Bodrum. These were the destinations where weddings were happening. And UAE was the next rocking thing as far as the wedding market was concerned, talking about Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, Bahrain, and all these places. And we're talking about Thailand destinations. So these were three hubs where major weddings were happening down.
True.
And because of the travel restrictions, the travel guidelines, the airlines not operating, the weddings will happen, but the weddings will happen in Indian destinations now. And the territories like Jaipur, which are already ahead, Jaipur, Udaipur, Jodhpur, Mahabalipuram, Goa, Kerala, they will be the next in thing. Yes, the clients will have to understand this, and they are understanding also. And as the industry leaders, we are also telling them that let the money remain in this country only. Let us support our hotels. Let us support our local travel agents. Let us support the local economy, because if this money remains here, the rotations happen here. So as a responsible industry, as a responsible people, as a responsible business, we want the weddings to happen here. The experiences will be created. India has got no dearth. Trust me, India has got no dearth of experiences. आप केरला के बीच के ऊपर जाइए, आप गोवा के अंदर जाइए, आप कोकोनट पेड़ों के नीचे जाइए, आप राजस्थान में जाइए, जगह ही जगह हिंदुस्तान के अंदर. बट इस आदमी को नया एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए था. आज इस देश को सपोर्ट करने का टाइम है, हम इस देश को सपोर्ट करेंगे. काफी डेस्टिनेशंस है हमारे पास इंडिया के अंदर.
So nice. So I think it's an encouraging sign for you, Carrie, because a lot of domestic, everybody's talking positive about the domestic business. And as we understand, because I also had a hotel background before moving to this side, and still the hotel industry, I believe, although I left 10 years back, more than a decade now, but still I believe the hotel industry still has a major share from the domestic market.
Absolutely. So just so you know, 70%, in fact, it's actually a bit higher, 75% of our market is domestic. So, you know, when I'm doing global reports for our company, and I'm just absolutely relieved that already we were very, very strong in the domestic market. So at least 75%. Now it does fluctuate in some areas, like, you know, of course, Delhi, you know, Pullman AeroCity has a very high international content. But then when I look at our hotels in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, you know, in Chennai, it's all domestic. It's 100% domestic. And that's very positive for us. And as I said, you know, like, I agree with the gentleman, is that we're seeing people postpone and not cancel. And that's so important, you know. And then, of course, also too, you know, we have a duty of care. We have responsibility to also help and support those businesses and those clients who have supported us over the years. So, you know, we're working with them, making sure that we have good commercial agreements. You know, that goes back to the whole collaboration. It's like, let's keep it in India. It's a phenomenal country. I mean, I'm a visitor, so I can say that quite proudly, but it is, and I, you know, and I think that there's a lot of destinations, you know, that even my colleagues in this office haven't been to yet. We were targeted to open Raffles Udaipur, so there's a beautiful wedding destination for you, on a private island. You know, we were so close, and now it's postponed a little bit, but, you know, we're hoping to provide even more exotic experiences in India, you know, and for locals. I mean, this Raffles Udaipur is on a private island, and it's exquisite. It's on hectares in this you know, in this island. You couldn't think of anything more safe and secure. So, you know, it's about, and that goes back to creating experiences bespoke, making sure that, you know, that there is a point of difference, and people can feel extremely proud to say that they've had their conference here or their wedding there. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, just to add, Carrie, on the similar lines, you mentioned about Raffles and Udaipur. is any other hotel is in the pipeline with Accor, which is opening up in next 1 or 2 years, which is primarily focused on the convention or event business?
Absolutely. Well, we're building a Fairmont in Mumbai as well, so that will have large meetings facilities. When you're talking about convention centres, we don't have anything like that in the pipeline, but definitely, you know, Raffles as a brand, Fairmont as a brand, Novotel. We've got a few Novotels in the pipeline that have large meeting space. So yeah, I mean, we're not shying away from the MICE market. Entertainment is huge, and as I mentioned, you know, yes, it's about conferencing, but it's also about product launches and car launches and you know, sport and entertainment. And a lot of our hotels have huge sporting events, which again, it's very domestic. It's very
that is very important, because the hotel brings a lot of things to a destination. If I see my own example, way back 15 years back, when I opened Grand Hyatt Mumbai, the entire game changed in Mumbai. The entire business model changed in Mumbai as far as the MICE is concerned. So similarly, the infrastructure plays a very vital role. That's the reason it's very important for Accor. And you started well in India way back. I remember in 2004 when you opened HICC. The entire dynamics, Hyderabad all of a sudden came into the international map of the MICE business globally. So I think that's why the infrastructure plays a very, very vital role. And I think if you will take this forward, I'm sure India will have more destinations, and that will really increase the
absolutely. So important for our suppliers. You know, we value our suppliers very, very much. They're critical to our success. So, you know, we want to make sure that we support them and get them working again. So we're in constant contact with our suppliers, with our clients, with the airlines, you know, in terms of moving people around the country. You know, we're always talking to the airlines, you know, on their MICE strategy as well. I think that's a very, very important factor, is the movement of people around in India is also important to our success.
So Rajeev Kale, I'm coming to you on this aspect. So now, since we have to promote in next, like everybody's saying, it's more of a domestic MICE, domestic tourism. So what are the new destinations you feel? Because I think clients who are already working with all of us have already been to Goa, to Udaipur, to Jaipur, to Agra. What do you think? Do you think some potential in eastern part of the country, northeastern part of the country? What are your thoughts about like Lakshadweep, for example, Andaman, for example, some less explored destinations? Because the important part, you need to also answer in relate to this question, will the client will get the similar kind of an experience, if not the same, what they experience in the European destinations?
Sure. So Naveen, if you you know, look at the India as an opportunity point of view, and I touched base this you know, in your earlier question also. Now it's a time for India. Okay. When you look at the challenges from the international borders point of view, obviously, you know, every country, you know, is going to ask for the COVID negative certificate. The visa is going to be a challenging. Your airline airfare is going to be you know, much more expensive. Now, when you are looking at it, your obvious choice is definitely going to be India, and it will be in a phase-wise manner. So I feel in the next 2 months or 3 months, the cities are also going to play a very important role. If you look at all the major cities like Calcutta, Mumbai, Delhi, you know, each one of them have got you know, the affordable luxury deluxe hotel available, and they will be the first one to open their doors. As soon as we get the nod from the state and the central government, all these super 5-star deluxe hotel, you know, will open their doors, and people are going to be, you know, they are stuck in their houses for 3 months, 4 months. It is the 4th month that we are in this lockdown situation. You know, even these cities, you know, is going to be a bigger opportunity. Like I'm talking about Mumbai. I'm in Mumbai, the JW Marriott in Juhu, you know, which is a stunning property, is also going to be a destination. Okay, so I can give you many of such city experiences, but that's not a point over there. Where I'm coming from, that it is going to have a phase-wise opening approach. Then you are talking about the experiences. I think, as I was telling you, the 7 wonders of the world are there, seven wonders experiences in India. You talk about the Andamans, you said about Andamans, the Radhanagar beach, the beach number 7. It's the most stunning beach, in the world. How many Indians or how many corporates have been there and experienced that? Any which way, the size of the group is going to be limited. It's not going to be 400, 500, and that used to be always a challenge, when it is coming to such exclusive, destination. So you talk about Bekal, which is in Kerala again. You talk about, there is a amazing property which is Bishangarh near Jaipur. You talk about the Khyber in Gulmarg, So there are stunning properties are there, which are, I would say, not only equivalent, but better than the various leading hotels of the world across the globe. And now, since the inbound traffic will have a limitation, I think that is going to open up the opportunity for Indians to experience these amazing, resorts and amazing, experiences within India. And I can, keep on talking about the product, which are available, but that's not a point. In nutshell, I can tell you that India has got a lot to offer, and all these boutique 5-star, wellness properties are going to, be the answer. That will be in the second phase, but the first phase, the answer is going to be these, cities, good 5-star hotels, because they have come up with their, safety and hygiene programs. Accor has come up. Marriott has come up. I think everyone, is ready. They're just waiting for the government nods, and then you see the traffic kind of, going to fly like this. I'm very confident about it.
You have mentioned about some interesting destinations within India, but do you think the budget will get affected? Because what the client is keeping, for example, going to Paris, would you like to spend the similar kind of an amount while going to Andaman? Or the budget will reduce, the group size will reduce? How do you foresee next 1 year?
See, the budget is definitely going to reduce. Okay, the size of number of people. I mean, the participants are definitely going to reduce. If I see the cost to the experience ratio, see, everyone is going to make this as an investment, and they are going to look at what is the cost that I'm paying and what is that experience that I'm going to get. If you can redefine your art of experience, if you can redefine your art of cuisine and care, I think people will invest in you, because there is so much that, you can actually create and, give that experience to the people. And, you look at the overall experience, when you are to go to, let's take a group to Switzerland. Okay, there is an airfare, there is a visa, and there is, the hotels are going to be, far more expensive. Now, the traveling within India is not going to be as, from the airfare point of view, as expensive as traveling abroad. And then, also, so if you take net to net, it is definitely going to be cheaper, but it is very much depend on how are you going to, create that experience and create that package along with the partners like, the Fairmont in Jaipur. That's our MICE partner. It's an amazing experience. Then you do go to Vancouver in Fairmont and do, all sorts of things. But India has got heritage culture. India has got wildlife, beaches, everything is there.
So, like, again, related to this only what you said, I thought I should ask you this straight away. What different agency has to do from the agency point of view? One is the venue. Venue is providing a certain kind of an experience. And now we can't take them to Paris, for example. We can't take them to Switzerland, for example. Then what experience we as an agency have to put it across to the client so they motivate their people or their channel partners to travel even in next 6 months?
See, to begin with, Naveen, this is a time to induce the, the customers to travel, okay, be it a leisure or MICE. People are now scared to get out of their houses, their complex. They are kind of paranoid to even go into the crowded market places. We as a tour operator and the Accor as a hotel partners, we need to work together to bring that element of safety, hygiene, and take out that apprehension that there is going to be a problem. That is number one. That how do we induce them to travel, and how do we give them that comfort that you will be taken care. And price is not the subject over here. Even if you give free, they may not travel because
True.
they are scared. So it's not about the price, but it's all about giving that sense of safety, sense of security, that you will be taken care, and they definitely want to travel because they have locked down for 3 to 4 months. Then creating the experiences. Everybody has got that aspiration that I want to eat at that there is a St. Regis and there is a EXO restaurant is there on the 40th floor. Everybody has got the aspiration to go there. Now you may take a group of 40 or 50 and take them to the St. Regis and give them that Michelin star meal at the Michelin star restaurant. Yes, they would want to experience that luxury and at the affordable price. So how can you make that entire package, entire experience? And that is where your cost to the experience ratio will come in. And if you can actually convince with your expertise, they will get convinced and they will travel. And this is where the hotel chain partners, the tour operators like us, and the state tourism boards has to come together and actually give that run for the international destinations, that hey, India has got everything to offer, and we will make you and give you all those sort of experience, and that will be that wow experience what you're talking
I think Rajeev, that is wonderful. I think that is something which is a very positive sign. And coming to Mr. Rajeev Jain, I think you already answered about the wedding aspect, that people may postpone it, but they always love to have weddings as such. So would you also like to add something on this aspect, what does Rajeev said from the corporate point of view? If you would like to add something on the wedding planners point of view as an agency?
Our agency does both the jobs. We are into big time government events, into MICE events and wedding. But yes, we are known for biggest weddings that we do. But as far as MICE is concerned, let me tell you again and again, requesting on one thing which I'm saying on a lot of sessions also. I really don't do much, but please hold on. I started my session with that. Corporate का business, don't teach your clients to do these conventions, these things. जो चीज 10 करोड़ में होती है 15 लाख रुपए के अंदर स्क्रीन के ऊपर हो जाती है, सबकी सैलरियां 30% के ऊपर लानी पड़ेगी जो होती है करने के लिए. एक्सपीरियंस इज द नेम ऑफ द गेम. होटल जो चीज अगर 10,000 रुपए में अपना कमरा बेचता है, they'll have to sell room in 3,000 rupees. प्लीज होल्ड ऑन. हमको कोई एक्सपीरियंस चेंज नहीं करना. वी आर अ रॉकिंग इकोनॉमी. एक 2020 को माइनस कर दो अपनी लाइफ से. जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दैट 2020 is out of your life. Trust me, you will be a winner. As wedding market, we are clear. We are not telling. We are asking our clients to postpone. बिलिंग नहीं कम करनी है, पोस्टपोन करो. क्या करोगे 40 लोगों की वेडिंग करके 50 लोगों की वो जूम पे शादी करनी है, एक मास्क लगा लेना, दूल्हा दुल्हन. व्हाट क्रैप वी आर टॉकिंग. हम अपने व्यापार को जो हमने खड़ा किया 40 साल से एक्सपीरियंसेस को, उसको खत्म करने की बात कर रहे हैं. आस्क द ओनर्स एंड द मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर्स टू पे सैलरी टू द स्टाफ 30% रिड्यूस करके. सस्टेन योरसेल्फ. दैट इज द नेम ऑफ द गेम. बाकी सब कहानियां हैं.
Chander ji, taking this forward from here, what about the future for these kind of large conventions of 2,000 plus people for next 1 year? Because that is where everybody is talking about the challenge will come. So what is your take on that part?
See, the challenge is there, no doubt about the challenge is there. In the sense, in any case, I think all of us will agree that yes, you can't have a convention or a meeting for, say, not even 1,000 people here at the moment kind of a thing, not even less than 1,000 people. So in my opinion, by talking to my customers and all that, or with the feedback from the trade, is that the conventions are going to be, the large conventions are going to be beyond, say, April 2021. Yes. And there also the catch is that these summer months, there never used to be a convention during these months. So we are landing up, say, in the month of September or October next year, as far as the large conventions are concerned kind of a thing. But then again, when we opened up, it all depends on the three segments. One is the state government, which your earlier question was. And second is the city actually. And third is the venue. These three plays a very, very important role where assuring us about the safety and security and all that, building a confidence in us, especially the venue. It's not only the venue which is going to create a confidence, it's the city also, it is the state also.
True.
Earlier, the state used to bid for a conference on the financial terms and all that, or same was the venue. Those things will not be there. It is the organizer will have the conference only where these three areas, they are coming together, state, city as the venue, all three together, and then bidding for a conference and assuring their security and safety. That is one. Your question of large convention, yes, I don't see any large convention happening unless we are working on few where we are going for a virtual conference. People, sorry saying that, Rajiv.
I was about to say.
Rajiv Jain, where people are now this weekend only, there is a 3 days conference where this doctor used to do a conference of say around 1,500 people. And he has asked us for a Zoom conference for 10,000 people. Where he says, look, I can, people doesn't have to come kind of a thing. He's now looking at a speaker from all over the world, the delegates from all over the world. And there is no fees into it, but only thing is saying, look, these doctors have come together and then trying to do a conference where we're going to educate on the particular segment of it. So these things are also coming in the sense where the customer says, look, we can't do this for the next maybe 1.5 years. But then, yes, your question maybe the revenue part of it. Revenue, initially, there was a big challenge of revenue, but it is picking up now. Picking up in the sense that what we are doing is that one is that it's very different than the marriages, very different than the weddings. Here is the content now. What the conference which now is happening during this weekend is mainly the content. On the basis of the content, actually the sponsorship has been generated kind of a thing. Definitely not what sponsorship we used to get earlier on the physical conferences. Must be around 25% only of that amount kind of a thing, but then it is catching up.
So do you think it will be a challenge? Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Do you think the sponsorship will be a challenge for next 1 year?
No, it is a challenge for 1 year, but then what we when we be talking to these conference organizers, instead of losing on to 100% of that kind of a thing, they are saying if we can make around 30 to 40%, again the challenges come with them. It is the content. Now, Naveen, you also must agree, all of you are on the panelist here. Earlier, when we started these webinars, we used to attend almost 2 or 3 webinars a day. Now, what is happening on these webinars is maybe we are very choosy now. We are looking at what is the content of that webinar. So if the content is good, we are doing our own webinar now, where there is a debate going on in my office saying that should we charge 250 rupees or 500 rupees, or we do a free of charge. So things will come in maybe tomorrow if somebody say do a webinar, which you like it, or maybe you feel that is good actually. If you charge the fees also, people will pay for it.
So where do you
I'll give you one more example. FICCI did all 3 first webinar on GST free of charge. Now there is a webinar from them. There is a circular from them, FICCI. I attended the free one now, earlier. Now they are saying 2,000 rupees for a webinar on GST. So it is the content actually which is going to get you the sponsorship also. But then the customer is saying that instead of losing 100% now till say October next year, let me try and see, cover up something on kind of with having a good content and then get the sponsorship.
But where do you see the exhibition part of it? Because one is the convention side and the other is the exhibition part of it. The exhibition, where do you foresee exhibition fitting into this domestic scenario when the international companies are not able to participate, for example, where there are restrictions of people coming from overseas? How do you think, okay, conventions can be there, but exhibition will be there because it's totally a commercial aspect in it and the revenue generating aspect?
No, if exhibitors and then even the organizers cannot wait till October next year. If you see this, any of these virtual meetings, if you go in for any demo of anyone for that matter, including ours, you will find a exhibition kind of a thing happening on the virtual platform also.
True.
I can take you straight to an exhibitor's booth now.
No, I'm not talking about, sorry, I'm cutting you here. I'm not talking in reference to the virtual thing. My question is related to something, a live event. Where do you foresee as a domestic market, the live event is all about, the live exhibition all about? Where do you foresee that if the international participation won't be there?
No, international participation will be there in the sense like, look, people are, when you're going for a virtual conference, there is an exhibitor from India. There is an exhibitor from outside India
No,
also.
I'm not talking about virtual, Chandraji. I'm talking about live event, the event which is happening on ground.
Live event. I think we should actually, when not looking at conference, we are not looking at beyond, say, October next year. Exhibition will be faster in the sense exhibition may come in, say, even, say, beginning of next year kind of a thing. No, with
Okay.
some kind of a norms from the venue, some kind of a norms for the organizers. They can't have so many visitors at a interval kind of a thing. They will be visiting particular stall and all that. They may come in much earlier than the conferences actually.
Okay.
Exhibition, that is what
Thanks.
my opinion, my view is.
Kerry, interesting thing you have heard. Everybody is very positive about the domestic part, whether it's a corporate side, wedding side, from the convention point of view. Okay, there may be a little challenge having the large meetings, but smaller meetings will take place. Now, the interesting part of it, something which is a very traditional debate, especially when there is a domestic market, hotel also has a sales team, and approaching the corporates directly vis-a-vis agency also work with them. Because even what I've experienced working for TUI as at the global level, that at the overseas level, yes, there is always a good cooperation. There is always a partnership. But when it's come to the domestic market, sometimes what we see that there is a competition. So how would you like to handle this aspect within the domestic market?
So I think if I understand the question well, is our sales teams at the moment in terms of, who they're working with. So you're referring, are they going directly to the customer and not the third party supplier? I think, I don't know. I think that, the partnerships that we've had with conference, and it doesn't matter whether it's a conference organizer, a wedding organizer, somebody who is an agency for sport and entertainment. We have very, very close relationships with them. And, there's always a service. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. And I think Rajeev Kale hit the nail on the head when he said that, people are skittish. They're a little bit frightened about coming out. So it's our job to awaken the senses, right? So if you think about it, you've been in hibernation for 4 months. It's our job to work with those agencies who are experts, right? Not more than ever, you need that collaboration of experts coming together. It's like, okay, how do we get creative in that space, in the my space? How do we get creative? And it is about working with your professional conference organizer, your wedding organizer, to kind of go, look, you know what? We need to heighten those 5 senses of smell, touch, sight, taste. How do we be creative about that? Because this is what human beings are craving. And it's that level of expertise that we need. So yes, I think before it was probably, just go out and get whatever you can, a little bit like that. Although I have to say that this particular country works very, very well and has a great distribution channel and system. But it is that level of expertise, because we don't have the answers on our own. And I'm not just talking about Accor. I hope my colleagues out there don't mind. I'm talking about the hoteling in general. None of us have the answers in isolation. But if we do come together and sort of say, okay, well, if we combine your expertise here and expertise over here, we can come up with a solution to be able to go and tackle this. And we have to tackle it together, because it's those key messages that we need to get out into the marketplace to give that consumer confidence. And it's it's, you know, what can we do creatively to make sure that our customers do want to come back and visit us. And so partnerships will be key. And it's the old saying, united you stand, divided you fall. So if we as an industry can come together, and that's why this particular travel conclave was a great interest to me, is that because here is an opportunity for all of us to have a voice for one common goal. And that's what, that's what has to happen.
No,
right across the board.
It's very heartening to listen to what you said. And I think all the other panelists also, the collaboration, the partnership is key. Now, coming from here, there is one discussions going on about the pricing. So what are your thoughts not from the core point of view, in general, from the hotel industry point of view, whether for the MICE segment, I would not say post-COVID, but I would say when the lockdowns will open, because COVID will be there for some time, the hotel should go RevPAR way or you go the ADR way. Because as you understand, the pricing strategy changes. I'm using my hotel experience of many years in the past.
You also have to have a phased approach, right? You can't have a one-size-fits-all.
Yes.
So you do have to have a phased approach in terms of how you're going to respond to this. So what we've been working on here is making sure that we strategize on what those phases look like. And at the moment, we're in ground zero. And in ground zero, what do you need to prepare? How do you stay connected? What needs to happen? Then in phase one is when we actually come out of lockdown. And again, it goes back to, your pricing, that affordability. And again, I agree, price will not get a consumer to go and spend money. It just won't. It just will not. Confidence, making sure that you have a value proposition, that needs to be there. But then that's always been there. Making sure that you do have a value proposition. Deep discounting is not going to convince somebody to have a conference. They're going to have a conference or a meeting or a wedding because they want to have a conference or a meeting or a wedding, or they have to have one. And then out of that, that's when, working with the partners, it's like, okay, all right, you and I, we're in this together. Where do we need to price ourselves in order to win the business? And that's the approach that we have to have. And I think, I think revenue management will always be here. But again, it's a phased approach. It's about looking at where you are at any given time and where the market is at. Yeah, it's not arbitrarily, I'm just going to give you this rate because this date tells me I need to give you this rate. It's about having conversations with Rajeev and Chander and saying, what do we need to do to win the business? And deep discounting is not going to convince somebody to have a conference, a wedding, or a car launch. So
I think just to come to an end of this, I would like to have a final question with all of you very quickly. So Rajeev Kale, coming first to you.
Naveen, if I may just add one point over here.
Sure.
See, you were talking about the price and whether it is a price for the hotel room or whether it is a price for the MICE package or for the holiday package. I would like to state that no one should sell cheap. Yes, industry is going through the difficult times, but there is no need for us to tell the customer that we are here to offer any damn price. No, industry has to survive. I'm not talking about my company or your company or any. The industry has to survive. Hotel industry has to survive. The entire tourism industry has to survive. It is to do with a lot of experience. It is to do with you are giving them all sorts of that aspiration that which they always want to get. I would say to the entire industry that no one should sell cheap. No one should sell desperate. There is always a cost to the experience that one has to pay for it. At the same time, I'm not saying that we should be complacent or arrogant about it, but we should be in a position to communicate and convince the customer that for this experience, this is the price and we will deliver it to you.
So Rajeev, the last question to you, with this domestic mice, will we have a good ROI for the agencies as well? Do you think the kind of ROI the agencies will make in doing the domestic mice as well, so they can promote more and more?
Certainly, because this is a time, the post-COVID or with COVID scenario, you need to, reimagine your business and redefine and set your goals accordingly. What was your, expectation of ROI in 2019 is definitely was different, and you're not going to achieve that. 2020, domestic is the only solution for you. We need to create our own ROI.
Perfect. So Rajeev Jain, coming to you, the last question before we just conclude. The food aspect is a very important aspect in the wedding business. So the way we are going to present it, the way we are going to present the food, they're saying no buffets and all. What do you think will be the experience? How would you like to put that experience to your end customers?
Hygiene will be the name of the game. The cleanliness will be the name of the game. The tunnels will be kept. Sanitization will happen. The faces will be covered. The food is there to experience. Definitely, if number of people will be less, the serving staff will be less. But yes, I don't foresee all that thing happening, that cutlery or crockery hogi jo bilkul disposable hogi and all that stuff. No, that is not the way you can create an experience. I'm again telling that we are getting too much panic. November tak hold कीजिए, December tak hold कीजिए. हमारे पास अगले साल इतना profit नहीं रहेगा, बट हम लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे. ये नवंबर दिसंबर तक का खेल है. हम लोग जितनी बातें कर लें, आप मुझे याद, मैंने पहले अप्रैल में ही बोला था नवंबर तक हमारे को सस्टेन करना पड़ेगा, फरवरी से बिजनेस आएगा. I stick to my point. Food will be the same after February. अभी तो हम जो खा रहे हैं, आपको मालूम है 100 रुपए में खाना खा लेते हैं घर के ऊपर जो होता है.
Perfect. Chander ji, your concluding remark, keeping in mind the conventional exhibition industry, what PCOs and agency has to do different to make sure the business will be running as far as within India is concerned?
See, the PCOs individually cannot play a role. It is an organization like you are also in a board member of ICPB, and I am also in a former vice chairman and then on a board of ICPB. Associations like Rajeev is talking about is on the marriage front, and then Mr. Kale is talking about the MICE segment kind of a thing. All our association has to come forward, try and see that, okay, the customer today, the fear which we been having in our minds all the time, what Mr. Rajeev Jain is also saying, that we are going to come back to in the month of November and we start business. With that kind of a messaging to our own community, in the sense, the conference organizers in our business kind of a thing, and within our own PCO segments, that association has to play a very, very big role at the moment, trying to convey the message, yes, we are going to open up and say, end of this year, things are going to be normal. Try and prepare themselves. I know in next 3 months or 4 months, nothing is going to happen, but we'll start preparing, being in a positive kind of a thing. That is one message I would like to have it through our association also, to convey into the, maybe, even to the international market also. Okay, India is very safe after maybe, a month of January and all that. These are the venues and these are the norms which we'll be having it now. The venue already have those norms with us, which we have already in ICBB have given it to the ministry. They have already come out from there. So these are the things which we must do it all together, try and convey the message to with an Indian organizer as well as the international organizer.
Perfect. So we have a limitation of time. So Carrie, your final words quickly, just to end to the hotel industry. How do you see forward, and just like to conclude from your side?
I concur, with all of us today, and I think, I think what our viewers or listeners from this can conclude that this industry is robust. It's not going to go away. It's simply put on hold. It's put on hold for a short period of time. I think that, and again, I hope my colleagues don't mind, I'm speaking on, everybody in the hotel industry. We can't wait for MICE to come back again. And we're very, very confident it will. We will be ready. And I think here is an opportunity that we can raise the standard and really show our domestic market, what we're capable of, so that you don't feel like you're missing out by not going abroad, that India has everything that it takes.
Wonderful. I think thanks to all the panelists. I think if you can see all the panelists talking about the positive side of the business, and everybody is confident. India being a large country has a tremendous potential of a domestic MICE business, and the time will come when things will be fine. We all need to keep our hope alive. We have to stay positive because conferences, events, all will come back. You must have already experienced that social events have already started taking place. A lot of small weddings have already started taking place. In fact, there are certain government events have started taking place, which are happening in the limited area and the limited gatherings. So I think overall it's for India, being a large country, within India, we have a great potential. We have a great potential to organize different kinds of meetings, whether it's a corporate meeting, whether it's a congresses, weddings. Our country itself is such a huge, you can say the opportunities to organize different kind of businesses at different levels, whether it is 20 people or 200 people. We have all kind of venues, all kind of locations to organize our business. So I think let's stay positive, and very soon we are confident and we are capable of organizing our business within our country. So with this end, I would like to thank all the panelists to give their valuable time. And I hope that very soon we are in a position to interact face to face and have this kind of meetings like in the past in a convention center or a banquet hall of a hotel. Thank you all.